dolphins that amazes you the most? Perhaps it has something to do with their speed and power.
Isso é um show de golfinhos, está acontecendo em poucos minutos e é isso. Vamos acompanhar.
Three dolphins, they've got them all. And with the help of our trainers, Lisa and Julie, we'll have the opportunity to learn more about these three pretty special dolphins.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Because we are pretty lucky to have them here at the Vancouver Aquarium, because with the help of these three, Spinnaker, Helen, and Hannah, we've got the opportunity to try and learn a little bit more about this pretty amazing species. And we are pretty lucky to have this species here at the Vancouver Aquarium in the first place. They're pretty rare to find in facilities, actually, but they can be identified.
Whoa! Whoa!
Black, white, and gray along their top and sides that lends them their name. They're known as Pacific white-sided dolphins. And they are considered to be one of the more, well, acrobatic.
Whoa!
Just as that name, Pacific white-sided dolphins suggests, these dolphins can be found all across the North Pacific Ocean, from the north coast of Mexico up to Alaska.
Ai, meu nariz. Not that many of us. Sure, this is a pretty unique species to see, but it is a species in our backyards. And because they are our neighbors, well, nowhere are we in danger.
I'm just nervous.
Now, Lisa here, closest to myself, is someone who's been working closely with these dolphins, so she might be able to tell us a little bit more about their amazing stories of survival.
I sure can, Kaylee. All three of our dolphins are what we refer to as rescued and rehabilitated animals. They're actually all found entangled in fishing nets off the coast of Japan, where they were brought to a rehabilitation center and deemed non-releasable. Luckily, we've been able to provide them a permanent home here at the Wild Coast. Working with me right now are they've been with us since about 2005, and since then we've been able to build and maintain a very strong relationship with them in order to provide them the best possible care, training, and regulation. Their healthcare can also be used by veterinarians and researchers to gain a better understanding about these mysterious. The way that we work with them reveals more about their species as well as their individual personalities. And believe it or not, they actually are just as different as you and I. Isn't that right, Helen? That's right. Most of all, though, working with Spinnaker, Helen can remind us that every day is net garbage and man-made objects that are affecting dolphins all around the world.
Thanks, Lisa. Now, it's because of those man-made objects that we want to try and find new ways to protect these dolphins. And we found one of the best ways to protect them is to always be learning more about them. And some of the things we know is that, well, they travel in.
Whoa!
Sometimes those may be 2 or 3, just as we saw there, but sometimes it may be as many as 2,000. And they are often seen traveling together at incredibly rapid speed. They can reach around 35 kilometers an hour, which of course is a pretty great way to try to escape predators, but that speed also comes in handy when chasing after prey. But speaking of prey, does anyone have a guess what it is these dolphins might like to eat? Fish, yeah, that was a pretty easy one. But I'd like you to imagine for a that you're a Pacific white-sided dolphin out hunting for food in the North Pacific Ocean. It can, of course, be a bit tough because the deeper you go, the darker it gets. But dolphins have a way to penetrate this darkness by using sound. They can rely on a form of sound navigation known as echolocation, which we can hear here. Maybe not. There you go. So these strange sounds are echolocation clicks produced by dolphins from within their heads. As these sound waves move through their underwater environment, the dolphins can listen to the echoes as they return to determine the distance and shape of the objects that surround them. And researchers understand echolocation to be an incredibly accurate sense. But if it's so accurate, how is it that dolphins like ours end up entangled in nets? Well, through the strong bond of trust our trainers have formed with these dolphins, we can ask them to wear eye cups. Kind of like this, over top of both of their eyes. By asking them to cover their eyes and swim through the underwater habitat, we can then drop hydrophones or underwater microphones into the water to listen to the kinds of sounds they make while they're navigating. And it's through this research that we can find new ways to protect these dolphins while they're out hunting for food in the North Pacific Ocean. We are, after all, pretty incredibly lucky to work so closely with Kiko, Helen, and Hannah because they give us the opportunity to do research that just wouldn't be possible anywhere else. Now, research that we've seen that these dolphins are, of course, incredibly energetic, acrobatic, and playful, as we can see from these both above and below the water. And we know, of course, that this energy comes from the fish that they eat. Now, we've seen how dolphins use echolocation to be able to find their food, but dolphins also rely pretty heavily on sound for communication as well. After all, they are pretty social animals. British Columbia, most recently along the Sunshine Coast in Seychelles. So yes, they can be pretty vocal from that social factor, making some pretty interesting sounds for communication that are a little like this.
Good shot here with that one.